Welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today we're going to work on something completely different. Now we already worked on that one, which is completely different. That's a 1988 Toyota Land Cruiser, right-hand drive, imported from outside the United States, and now it's happily here and back in its running form. Today I'm going to work on something completely different. Oop, I kicked the tripod. There is a 1992 P30 chassis with a 6.2 diesel and a turbo 400, probably a straight cut gear turbo 400, because it's probably an HD turbo 400. I haven't verified that yet, but we will get to that here shortly. Yeah, I just don't say no. I need to learn how to say no to people. So this customer called us up and he said, hey, I want a new engine and a new transmission put in my food truck. I make money selling hot dogs and hamburgers, and I need this thing to be reliable. We said, well, why does it need an engine and trans? He's like, well, I'm tired of getting it band-aided and I want it all to be new. That's scary right off the rip. Let's get the truck here so we can assess it and figure out what we need to do to at least make it usable. So we got it over here. I looked at it this morning. The starter is not installed correctly and all the teeth on the starter are missing. So I've got a new starter to put on it. We'll see if we can get it to fire up and run. And then we will assess the vehicle from there and let the customer know what we recommend. It is a gorgeous November day. I can't think of a better place to work outside than my parking lot right now. So that, and it's kind of hard to push this thing into the shop. So I'm just gonna dust the cobwebs off my old big truck ramps, push it up on the ramps to give myself a little elbow room, and I'm gonna stick a starter on this. We'll see if it cranks over and fires, and then we'll go from there. If you are interested in learning way more about the 6.2 Detroit diesel that GM offered from 1982 till I think 1994 or 5, stick around. It should be fun. Maybe. Might be painful. Was trying to run away on me. I had to look into that. And it's up. And it's up. It's a clam show. Wants to eat me. Check out there just in case. Looks like we have 2 batteries. One's kind of connected. Let's take our batteries loose and drop our new old starter out, and then we will put it back together. Oh goodness. I'm probably gonna knock that camera off of there 5 or 6 times in the next 10 minutes. Hey, I remember to turn off my light. That's awesome. So, can't tell. Oh yeah, it does look like it's a one-piece rear main seal, so that's good. Awesome sauce. Oh, that was almost one.
Oh, you know what? I gotta start this up just so that you guys can hear it. But to do that, I need to take this shim out. I tried shimming it, and it did not make it better. Oh, that's good. That's probably part of our problem. Bolt's tight, but the starter is not. That looks like about as good of a spot as any for you guys to watch me drop this honking big old starter right on my face. Grab a couple washers so you can enjoy the noise that this makes. Get out of here. Oh, what'd you do today, Rich? Oh, I rolled around underneath a 30-year-old potato chip truck. Oh, that sounds like loads of fun. No, not really. Not really. So while this starter is new, looks to have been installed incorrectly, so more than likely, well, a lot more than likely, I will be putting a new starter on this, and ultimately probably a new flywheel. But let's see if this thing runs before we completely condemn it. So I have a starter here. I ordered it earlier today. There was a shim in this. I removed all the shims. We're going to see what it sounds like. It's probably going to sound just as bad as it did earlier. But let's give it the old college try, shall we? Well, that sounds pretty bad. Let's put a new starter on it. That was really bad. I should probably check the flywheel, see how many teeth are missing. There must be a hole in the exhaust right there, because it looks like somebody used a glue wrap on the exhaust, but I'm seeing smoke coming out of it. Well, it looks like she's got a neat exhaust. It's okay, I know a guy that can do that. I was not expecting that. It is a 4L80E. Okay. That makes more sense from the pan. That's actually a good thing. So a 4L80E with a 6.2 one-piece rear main seal, naturally aspirated diesel in 1992. All right. I could grab some tools. Oh, backlighting is gonna stink, isn't it? Sun's coming in on this gorgeous day. Working outside in November, that's just not normal. And they got all sorts of weird sizes on this. Is it metric? Is it SAE? Nobody knows. This was a really weird time for GM. 6.2 diesel built by Detroit Diesel, owned by GM at that time. That flywheel's horrible, man. That ring gear. I'm gonna guess there's a few missing teeth on the starter bendix. Go grab a couple more sockets, see if I can get the right one this time. Not all hot rods and muscle cars. We pay our bills the old-fashioned way too, on our backs. Oh. Hey, I'm finally winning. It only took 27 trips to my toolbox. I should probably put on some safety glasses for this project. With all the space there is in this engine bay to take these two trans lines loose, somebody still cut them right there. Oh. All right. Oh yeah, those teeth do not look great. Ooh, the end of that's all galled up. I bet somebody tried to ram those into them until they bottomed out. Napa Power. Brand new and all effed up. Oh, those holes do not look good. Not look good at all. Ooh, those are not great. I'm gonna run a chaser up through them. Looks like somebody tried to bottom the bolts out and pull the threads out of the block. That's gonna make things complicated. Flywheel's definitely not great. Put a new starter on it and see. It's definitely going to need a new flywheel. 3/8. I know, let's put it in with an impact. That way we can strip it just like the last guy. A couple washers on there since this is obviously too long of a bolt. I need to grab a scraper because the bottom of that block looks horrible. And there's no ground strap on this, so we need to make sure our ground path to the starter boss is clean. So we'll be right back. I moved you over to the other side of the truck, so Hopefully the backlighting's not killing you. See how wobbly that guy is? You may not be able to see that. You can see how wobbly this bolt is. It's probably because the starter has been run loose. So the starter's rocking and making those holes bigger. So we're probably going to have to fix the starter holes by drilling them oversized, putting threaded inserts in, and then drilling the guide point out and putting a sleeve in. I don't know, I'll have to talk to one of my machinist buddies and see what they do to fix things like that, because I'm not entirely sure how you go about fixing that in this situation, because the starter bolts are a very important part of aligning the starter and keeping it in place. It's on there. I don't know if it's going to be on there the way it needs to be on there, but it's on there. Let's hook up our battery cable and our hot feeds. Hey, did you guys know that you have some guy laying under a truck in the parking lot? Yeah, I don't mind him. That's just the owner. Playing with cars. Considering this truck's in Ohio and it's from 1992, it's in pretty good shape, honestly. Alright, are we taking bets as to whether this thing shears the teeth off the new starter right off the first rip? Let's find out, shall we? Guy's looking a little chippy. I've seen worse flywheels. This one at least still has all the teeth, but you can see they're all curved out. It's really not good. All right. Hey, it's got a suicide seat. That is uncomfortable. Wow. We'll just put that back where we found it. Alright. Let's see what she's got. This is either going to sound really good or it's going to sound really bad. Let's fire it up. Diesel, gotta wait for the glow plugs to cycle. You knew that. .62 diesel. Oh, that is a really long glow plug cycle. Really? You're so spoiled with modern engines. That's not starting. It's at least rolling over though. It sounds like it has bent valves, honestly. It sounds like I have air coming back up through the intake. Oh, hey, look at that. There's a can of starting fluid. I bet it has no pistons left in it. With upper cylinder lubricant. Starts engines faster for gasoline and diesel engines. Nothing good comes from a can of starting fluid and a diesel. Extremely flammable. That's not what you want to put into a diesel. You guys want me to put it into a diesel? It's already huffed. Go get some spray silicone and see what it does. I usually use spray silicone because it's not as volatile as this stuff. Even though they say you can use it in a diesel engine, I wouldn't recommend it. Hold can upright and spray starting fluid for no more than 3 seconds
into intake or carburetor. Start engine. So Valvoline says one, 2, 3. This isn't gonna go well. God, this stuff smells horrible. So we're not getting fuel. And I think I just destroyed my new starter. So it's looking like it needs an engine. It's definitely got a fuel problem. And it has fuel. So let's figure out what the next step is. Well, the starter's still tight. It's not happy about that flywheel. So we're gonna have to call a customer and talk to him about a new flywheel. The fluid in the transmission's pretty clean. It is a 4L80E transmission. I was thinking it was a heavy duty turbo 400, but it is actually a 4L80E. The fluid in it looks good. Those are good trannies actually, so I'm not too worried about it. And the fluid's clean, so. The one-piece rear main seal is leaking because it's dripping on me as I'm under there now that I've got to crank. So I guess the next step is to see how far this customer wants to go, because I need to drop the trans, put a flywheel on it, probably fix the starter mount bolts, because I think that's why my starter's floating away from the flywheel. So yeah, that's great. It fires, so it does make compression. It just sounds weird when it's cranking over, but that could just be the flywheel. So we definitely have a fueling problem, which is probably the pump. So that makes the question, do you replace the engine with a new pump and put it all back together and then see what happens? There's a lot of other stuff that this car is going to need. I know it's going to need front brakes because it was back drug in here on a wrecker. And when it got here, both front hubs were hot. Like I couldn't put my hands on the wheels because the front brakes were dragging so badly. So it's going to need calipers and hoses, pads, rotors, probably kingpins because it's got 250,000 miles on it. But we'll see what the fella wants to do. If this is the truck that makes him money at Jamaican Jerkville, then we'll see if we can. Oh, did it just? Oh, that's a reflection. Ah, it is really bright today. Whew. Super bright. At any rate, we'll figure out what we're gonna do with this thing here. Thanks for liking. Click, surprise. I can't talk. Thanks for clicking like, subscribing, and leaving comments below. See you guys on the next one.